Well, ever since INDYCAR started racing on the streets of Long Beach, it has been a happy hunting ground for the Andretti name. For Mario, for Michael, for the team that carries that storied name. And yesterday was all about that Andretti team. Will Power the fastest. His teammates not far behind. Everyone else with work to do to catch the championship. Are on board coming your way courtesy of Arrow.
Oh, big save there from Pato. That's where we saw McLaughlin get into a little bit of trouble. That was on entry in practice. That was just a big oversteer on Power mid-corner. So easy to do there in turn 9.
Not a great racetrack historically, Will, for Pato O'Ward. He's never started better than 6th, never finished better than 5th. But yesterday I thought his pace looked pretty solid. His hands were busy as always as he was trying to do everything he could in the cockpit for compensating for any handling imbalance in his McLaren Chevy. Whoa, big moment there at the exit of 1, almost into the wall with the left rear.
Having to take his chances and really take a big bite out of everything that he can here at Long Beach. Little slide once again from Pato O'Ward. And guys, from the times we saw yesterday, you mentioned it at the top of this show, looks like it's Penske versus Andretti from what we saw yesterday. Ganassi and these guys at Arrow McLaren with time to find.
And it's interesting because you think about the teammates of this car, Christian Lundgaard. He was on the podium in St. Pete on a street circuit.
Yeah, just watching this again from Pato O'Ward. Excuse me, it was the right rear, of course, that just stepping out there.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit too much curb for this early in the session. You know, obviously the sports cars have been out since the last time Indy cars were on the racetrack. A little bit of that rubber down. That's a lot of curb when you're still trying to get used to, get these tires up to temperature, get the grip in. When you hit that curb, that's one thing. It seemed like it handled the curb strike okay, but then as the car landed, it seemed to upset the back of the car a little bit. Still taking a lot of curb this time through.
Look at how busy the hands are, though. We'll contrast this to other drivers the rest of this session, but for Pato O'Ward, you can just tell how violent and busy he has to be. He's got to check up here for traffic.
Now here's something interesting, guys. We've talked about Andretti and Penske and Ganassi and McLaren, but what about ECR this weekend? Because all the way through this year, Alexander Rossi has been looking forward to a potential upgrade that was coming for his car, something which he spoke about over the winter as being supremely exciting and giving them a step forward in performance. He is currently top of the pile, and this is the weekend where that upgrade will make its debut.
This guy had one of the most dominant performances we've ever seen in Long Beach in the modern era back in 2019. Won the race, I think, by almost 30 seconds. He's a 2-time winner here just this weekend. Earlier on Thursday, got inducted into the Walk of Fame. His medallion now in the sidewalk alongside the stretch between turns 7 and 8.
Saw him yesterday leaving the track with his teammate Christian Rasmussen. Rossi did not look happy, and usually that's a good sign. When he doesn't look happy, he is mad fast on the racetrack. I asked Rasmussen, hey, this upgrade that you guys have, how is it? And he said, kind of gave me that 6-7 vibe.
And 0. We ride on board with Joseph Newgarden, who currently finds himself down in 15th place on a 108.8. Newgarden, who sits 5th in the championship, arriving here 43 points off Kyle Kirkwood, our championship leader. Already, though, 1 race victory to his name in 2026.
So grippy right there, guys, as Newgarden fires through in the Estemo car. I just want you to look at how the rubber is building up on the racetrack. You've got all the IMSA running as well, the drifters, James. And to your point, after the IMSA race, expect this to be double what we see right now. That is an unbelievable amount of rubber cake up on the racetrack.
You don't see anything like this on any other racetrack. The combination of different series we have here, especially those drift cars, lay down just a tremendous amount of spent rubber. And normally we talk about laying rubber down on the racetrack leads to grip, leads to lap time. That is not the case here. That kind of rubber is not very compatible to what the Indy cars are running on with their Firestones. And if anything, as they drive over it, it actually tears up off the racetrack so they can then get some Firestone rubber down into this asphalt. And you can see the drivers kind of staying off it.
That's why when you get wide, it's treacherous there. If you're too wide in the race, the outside driver is really hung out to dry.
combination. Those are 24 lap tires. It's INDYCAR using every single inch. And that's what you have to do here, Townsend. You know, you've got to be so committed on the exit of all these corners. Get right up to the apex wall, mid-corner, right up to the exit. You want to just barely brush the Firestone off the sidewall if you can.
I will never forget my rookie year here in IndyCar on my outlap following the great Kenny Brack, and it was an eye-opener. It was a lesson to a young driver about how much risk you have to take with the concrete everywhere to put down a quick lap.
So here we go. This is Santino Ferrucci, who we were just looking at. Big lockup and outside front, right front heading into turn one. That's rare. He just hit the bump at the wrong time, but this driver really struggling right now, down to 25th and last.
It has not been the start to the season
It's just bottom.
Ferrucci expected.
Hear that big hit, Will, as car just hard bottom. Probably in second gear there. Georgia, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you it has not been the start to the season or the start to the weekend that Ferrucci and the team had hoped for. I did just catch up with Larry Foyt before this session started and asked him about yesterday where they struggled as well. And he said, well, really, we were kind of waiting for the track to come to us, but it never did. So today they didn't really throw a whole lot different at it, just small tweaks, but obviously still need to pick up the pace today before qualifying.
What's going on here with Power?
Sitting on board with Will Power, that's Nolan Siegel ahead. Pato O'Ward's teammate. Power trying to go around the outside.
Everybody precious little room to his left rear to Siegel's right front, and then Siegel wants to have back at it.
Tries to come back at him.
And Power nowhere near the apex, clearly sending a message to the young Californian. But it's just so tough here, and tempers are going to fly in qualifying. I know you've got half as many cars on the track.
Back to Scott McLaughlin. 3 weekends in a row for him with issues.
Stingray Robb did not. This is a lot like Will Power and Nolan Siegel. Stingray Robb did not want to let McLaughlin get by right as Stingray was about to start his flying lap. McLaughlin having none of that and trying to force his way through basically ruined both of their starts to a flying lap on board here with McLaughlin.
Oh. It was a late attempt to make that move from Scotty, if I'm honest. You know, Stingray's trying to set that gap. He sees McLaughlin coming, fades a little bit right. But as you say, it ruined both guys' laps, so I'm not sure who gains in that scenario.
Gotta love this angle right here. Track temp 100 degrees. The Firestones brand new for Kyle Kirkwood. This should be full push. He's got a beautiful piece of clear racetrack in front of him. This should be everything he's got over one lap.
Slightly off in sector one.
It's a good read also on how many laps it takes for the tires to come in. Maybe it's still early for the hards.
This is it. 2 laps he's put on them. But it's a personal best through the second sector.
Strategist Brian Herta with some information. What'd you hear there, James? I didn't quite pick that up. I'm not sure what Brian Herta was saying. Maybe it's this lap now for Kyle Kirkwood as we get a look at the sectors around Long Beach. Sector 1 includes this long shoreline drive front straightaway and a big heavy brake zone for turn 1.
And you can see on that last one, that sector 2 was his personal best. So the tires are there now, just kind of setting things up. So I'm with you, Townsend. I'm looking at the map. He's got a nice little gap to Mick Schumacher in front of him. So as long as Mick's on the pace, he hopefully won't catch traffic. Well,
I think he
will.
will.
An outlap.
I'm not sure you want.
He's on an outlap.
Pato O'Ward drops the time to a 107.9. Kirkwood, though, goes fastest of all through the first sector.
Great job for Mick Schumacher to get out of the way of Kirkwood. Kirkwood goes purple in sector 1, a 25-1.
Midway through sector 2, you're looking for a 25-0 through here to be on pace with Pato O'Ward, who just set the best of all middle sector on the top time of the day, that 107.9. Kirkwood, it's a personal best, just a 1/10 of a second off O'Ward. Just a few corners remaining over that slippery rubber laid down by Formula Drift. The left pulls into that tight right-hander with the hairpin at the end. A blast on the throttle, over the line for Kirkwood, and it is good enough for the fastest time of the day, 107.794.
Great roll speed through turn 11, James, that final corner.
In turn 5. Giant traffic.
Well, here's how it looks at the moment on the streets of Long Beach. Kyle Kirkwood, fastest of all from Pato O'Ward. Felix Rosenquist jumping up to third at the end. A great run from Kiffin Simpson in fourth. Speaking of great runs, Graham Rahal up there in fifth. Then Marcus Ericsson for Andretti sixth. Joseph Newgarden, the highest placed Penske. Scott Dixon, Nolan Siegel, and Alex Palou.
What I like when I watch Malukas is so much calm and confidence in his hands. He has a really gentle touch on the steering wheel. Reminds me a lot of his teammate Scott McLaughlin in terms of how relaxed he looks. And just doing a brilliant job, as we've talked about, settling into Team Penske for his first season. He's a guy that I think the back half of this year, watch out.
It doesn't feel like he's, go a bit wide there in 5. That was just a little bit off the ideal line.
We learned yesterday the curse, the broadcaster's curse.
Let's try not
bad times.
Let's try not to do it two sessions in a row.
Carry on though.
But yes, I was going to say, it doesn't seem like he's come in with this weight on his shoulders of, I'm at Team Penske, I have to win now. Whether that's his own mentality, whether that's someone like Jonathan Duguid putting an arm around him and saying like, hey look pal, you're here because you deserve to be here. We got your back. Let's learn together, let's grow together, and let's be strong in the second half of this season and fight for wins. We don't have to worry about putting on the top step in these first 4 or 5 races.
Rossi with a great lap, 108.2, puts him P1 with 7 minutes of the session remaining. His teammate, though, Christian Rasmussen, getting a little bit squirrely. Comes down into turn 9.
I was just going to say, he's using an awful lot of curb in turn 9, and that was clearly too much curb. You saw the bottom case out, and the front tires lift right off the ground.
Not for the Sultan of Sketch. He probably said, that feels just right. I'm taking way less distance through that corner. Sure, I felt a giant jackhammer to my back end, but feels good to me.
And I'm very curious to see what he can do. Personal best for him in Sector 1. Coming down into turn 8 now, heading onto the back straight. What does he have in the second sector of this lap? Personal best there as well. Still a couple tenths off what Malukas has managed on aggregate so far. Man, that turning is so aggressive, but so precise.
Decisive.
3 personal bests. Puts him second, 3 tenths behind Malukas.
I like that turn in 11, James, because I feel like you can lose so much time there being under the limit just for a skosh, and because it's such a slow corner, it adds up to being a big time loss. Palou, I mean, the surgeon, he went in with a bite of the knife there.
What's so interesting to me, though, is that is such a contrast to how he drives during the long runs. You can't get away with just absolutely crushing the wheel on entry like that. That's going to wear out your left front tire so much more over a stint. But when it's new, when it's sticky, it has that extra grip. You can be aggressive on that turn in, and I love that he can switch his style so much from a single lap kind of goal to how he drives it over a stint.
It's definitely 2 push laps in a row. 2 tenths off Malukas through Sector 1. It's his best of all through Sector 2. Just a hair away from David Malukas. Let's see where he's at. Through the hairpin and over the line for Alex Palou. It is an improvement in time, but not position, a 107.911.
Currently P2, 110.
Ones are given. Nolan Siegel,
dear.
left front. I wonder if that was coming out of turn 8, maybe.
Sure, the benefit of driving this back in.
Door there.
Yeah, he's going to have to go into the back door to pit lane. You won't get around the hairpin like that. I'm not even sure he'll get to the hairpin.
That's good.
And that's it. That's a red flag, and that session done.
Sorry about that.
So with 1 minute 32 on the clock, a red flag. Let's have a look at what happened to Nolan Siegel, and I think you guys are absolutely correct. Through 8, back steps out a little and slams into the wall.
Yeah, you saw he had the correction in, so as the left rear hits, the left front was turning into the wall, and that's what collapses it.
Oh yeah. Or not.
Not sure the spotter audio was
synced correctly.
Well, it might have been synced correctly.
Or
it probably
spotter wasn't watching at the right time.
Or strategist. How many laps were on Siegel's tires there, James? 18, 19?
10.
10?
10 laps on that set.
And a difficult start to the season continues for Nolan Siegel.
Oh, red. We got a red flag here.
Red flag out on track.
Oh,
Mick Schumacher. Oh, man. Lost all of that track time yesterday with an engine change. Let's get a look at what happened to him here. Just a bit too much speed, seemingly, through the fountain.
It's weird. It's almost like it was still driving itself.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Hope he got his hand off the wheel in time there. It looks...
Still getting to grips with this car and this championship, and of course with this circuit.
Stock, I didn't get it back. I tried already.
So he needs to get a little pull back. Hopefully we'll be able to make it back to pit lane.
Oh,
that's a big one.
Is that Pato? No, I think that's one of the DCR cars.
That's Grosjean.
I think it's Hauger because
Grosjean.
the rookies.
It's
Grosjean.
Yeah, see there, the number 18.
That's a big one.
Huge. Turn one so deceivingly fast here. You've got to be so committed to find the lap time, and you just get it a little bit wrong.
He talked about having huge struggles with grip earlier in this session, and let's take a look.
On the brakes, heading down into turn one, the car already starting to go on him, and then loses it over the curb and straight in at the front. That's a horrible, horrible impact.
Overcorrection, fires him in right front first. And guys, you got to remember in these segments, the first red, that freezes the clock, but that's the only get-out-of-jail-free card the time has. So this will be continuing to run down after that red flag for Nolan Siegel earlier. So there's going to be a reduced amount of lap time, track time for these drivers if they can even get that thing cleaned up within the next 4 minutes. It's not
Wow,
likely.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it's
all of
one
the
thing to
carbon
get
fiber in the wall.
It's one thing to get into the tires, but that concrete block at that angle.
So here you see he's coming in, he gets up on the curb, he's already made a little correction, then as he hits the curb, it really steps the back end out. And then it's just a classic overcorrection, so easy to do. No power steering in an IndyCar, we talk about that a lot. It really affects how you have to manipulate the wheel on an oversteer event.
Hope he was able to get his hands off the wheel.
I don't know, I think he's trying to save that one till the end.
That's going to hurt. It's almost head-on into the wall. Well, not the end that Grosjean would have wanted, but the day will end for us with qualifying. Join us for that. It's going to be an absolute thrill ride. Kyle Kirkwood, the fastest of this practice session. Penske look quick. Ganassi have found time. McLaren are fast too, and do not sleep on Rinus VeeKay or Alexander Rossi either. It's going to be a thrilling qualifying session here on the streets of Long Beach as we try to find who will fight for the pole position. Join us this afternoon for more.